Two-time Hall of Fame inductees, Brent Godarzi and Marty Young. Back-to-back #1 trucking firm in the nation. Back-to-back best attorney and best law firm in East Texas.
Hello, Buckeye Nation. Jeff Rash here. Welcome to the Gilmer Coaches Show. I'm Jeff Rash, your host. Joined today by the head football coach and athletic director of the Gilmer Buckeyes, as always, and that is my good friend Alan Metzel. Alan, congratulations on yet another victory.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
Well, the game last week was a little boring, Alan. You gave the fans nothing to hope for in that game other than a dramatic victory. And speaking as one of the broadcasters, it was the worst, most boring game of my life. This game, however, was not. It was the
You're
most.
Talking about Mahia.
I'm talking about Mahia.
Yeah, I got you.
This game, however, was one of the most interesting games, and I've had people all over town, everywhere I go, on Saturday and today at church. That's all anybody wanted to talk about was penalties, right? And stuff like that. So I brought some stats because that's not the only interesting stat that we had.
Right. Thank goodness.
Yeah, no, that was not at all. We had a lot of interesting stats here, and when you look at the score and you look at some of these stats, they really don't add up, to what happened in the game, right?
Right.
So I want you to explain some of them to us. First of all, we had 37 first downs in this game. I mean, and of course the final score of this game being 68-31, right? So decisive victory, yes, obviously, but Caddo Mills it managed to get 28.
Right.
Okay, so which is a lot against that Buckeye defense. I don't think we've given up a lot of. I don't think we've given out 28 all year if we look back, which is pretty phenomenal. Especially when you look at the fact that they were negative 13 yards in rushing.
Right.
I mean, the defense of that front group we've talked about all year.
They dominated the front.
They
the
dominated.
Line of scrimmage.
It was unbelievable. They had nothing all night. They were never positive yards, I don't think, one time in the game.
Right.
I think it was negative from the start. And they were trying to dig out of a hole, which is pretty amazing. We, on the other hand, had 37 rushing attempts for 248 yards. They had, and we also, as far as passing yards, we had... our net passing yards were 438 yards, which is a lot. They had 485. I mean, they were just throwing the ball all over the yard. They couldn't run it, so they were
I told you,
it.
their quarterback's pretty talented.
He was amazing.
He really was. And, a few of their plays, I also mentioned last week, their best play is the scramble. And, like the one play where he ran all the way to the sideline and then threw it
back
all the way back
across the field.
Now, some of that, you're living on the edge. And, of course, a little bit later, Rowan picks one of those and runs it back.
Yeah.
So, but, he's very talented. They ran their scramble drill well. They caught the ball well. And so, you got to give them credit.
Yeah, they got some receivers with some good hands.
They catch the ball.
And they ran good routes.
They did.
And I mean, they were there to play.
Credit, no doubt.
I mean, they didn't come to lay down. They laid their ears back from the word go.
Right.
They sure couldn't get anything going on the ground, but really 485 in the air is pretty good against the Buckeye defense.
No doubt.
Total offensive plays. I'm trying to think of a game I've ever called that had 79 plays by our team. They had 76. I mean, evenly matched. By the way, if you go to time of possession down here, pretty even. In fact, we always are the lowest in possession. In fact, we're usually
try to score quickly.
Yeah, right. We're usually like a third of the opponent that we play. We actually had the ball longer. We had it 26 minutes 48 seconds. They had it 23:35. Pretty even. Not used to seeing that stat either. I thought it was pretty cool. That the passing attempts, 32 of 42. That's pretty good.
That is.
That's a good
percentage.
I mean, that's a good percentage.
Well,
and there were a few drops.
It's been that way the past 3 games. We've been at like 75 and above the past 3 games from PG, Mahia, and Caddo Mills.
Tennyson's been
He's
very,
throwing the
very
ball well.
accurate. He really has. They only completed 22 of 55. But they were able to put up 485 because they had some big ones. They had some fly routes and things. So pretty amazing. But the storyline, the thing that everybody's talking about, penalties. 21 penalties for 236 yards. They had 10 for 98 for a total of 334 total yards in that game. That's the thing everybody's talking about. So address it for us. What in the world?
I'm going to do it now and then move on.
And then we're going to be done with it.
And I'll be done with official talk. that obviously we made some penalties. We've gone back and looked at the film. There were penalties.
Yeah,
you know, there were things that there were several. I think we had a late hit on a play. We had a blindside block that was legitimate. I would say there was a pass interference or two that where we were pretty handsy. Totaling it up, I would have said about 10 to 11 would have been legitimate.
Legit.
And then there were a bunch that I still would argue pretty voraciously. I've done my report card to the officials. I've called their president of their chapter, and we talked.
Yeah.
And those are the things I can do in recourse.
You got to
that's
move
about
on.
it. Yeah.
Well, okay, so I'll put my 2 cents in.
Okay.
You just hate when you see officials put themselves into a game like that. And here's the thing, for people that don't watch a lot of football, there's 22 guys going at it every single play on the field. If you wanted to, you could call a flag on every play in football.
Pretty close.
Because there's going to be people grabbing jerseys. There's going to be unintentional face masks. It's the spirit of the penalty. And like when you throw a penalty flag that's 50 yards away from the play, that had nothing to do with the play in general, that's a problem. And that's what we were seeing, a lot the other night. And it just became comical to us.
It wasn't comical to me.
No, I'm sure it wasn't as
all.
funny to you, especially if you had a close game. I mean, if you're playing,
exactly.
if you were playing a Carthage there or, Van coming
Could have
up.
sent you home.
Could have sent you home.
Right.
And that'd be a shame to do a report card and they say, oh, sorry, but you're still at home.
And
You're
that's
in the gym.
Year. Right.
Yeah.
So that was pretty frustrating.
Were you giving the referees an earful down there? It looked like you guys were having some discussion.
We talked.
Yeah.
We talked. But the thing as a coach, you talk about controllables and uncontrollables. Uncontrollable, you can't control the other team, you can't control the weather, you can't control officials. And so you have to adjust. You have to figure out how they're calling the game and adjust how you're playing. You have to control the things you can control, and that's what we just kept talking to the team about. In some cases, we did better at it. In some cases, we didn't.
Well, what's crazy is we just talked about this last week. First game that I ever recall us last week, no penalties, 0 on the offense.
On the offense, yeah.
No penalties on the offense, which is phenomenal.
Right. We had like 4 or 5 total.
Total, but that was none on the offense. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I even made a comment at the beginning of the broadcast. Oh man, they were calling them against the other team. I was like, hey man, I like this ref crew. These guys are going to be great. And then I'm going to keep my mouth shut from now on.
No more.
Yeah, no, I won't say another word. So it was a great game though,
Yes,
all the way around. It was very exciting. We knew it was going to be a long game because number one, there was flags everywhere. I told everybody I was going to come in and throw a flag today on you just for fun, but I couldn't find a yellow scarf.
I'm grateful. I might have had a flashback.
Yeah,
gone back to
PTSD.
Vietnam or
Yeah,
something,
something like that. So we we knew it was going to be long because number one, the penalties, and secondly, they were just throwing the ball.
Right,
Every time the ball hits turf, and they only had 22 out of 55, that stops the clock.
Right.
And that's why you had 79 plays, and they had 76 or whatever it was. So that's got to be some kind of record, but definitely an interesting game.
No
Way
doubt.
better than my game for us. We were having fun with it. So let's go to some film and let's talk about some of the highlights that we had in that game. The first thing that there's a lot to talk about, a lot of touchdowns in this game. I thought once again, we've been talking about the offense really hitting their stride at the right time.
Right.
I thought they looked really good.
They did. We played well. We were able to hit a lot of big plays. A lot of different players made plays. We were able to run. We were able to throw. It's what we want. We want to be balanced in our ability to do either. It's not so much balance of how many plays we do of one or the other. It's that you want to have the ability to. And you take what the defense gives you.
Yeah.
So,
well, this first one was a touchdown. We're going to see a lot of touchdown plays. This was Parker Gilmer, who we talked about this last week. I talked about it in the broadcast. Parker has really come on.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
man, the guy can block. He's
a
somebody
complete
needs
player.
to be looking at him. There's some colleges that really are. If they're not looking at him, they should be.
Right.
I mean, this guy's got hands.
Good hands.
He's
he
a
can
good
run.
blocker.
Right. I mean, he's on our 4x2 relay that went to state last year. So he can run. So you've got him up here in the top of the picture, and we're going to run him on a play that we set up this week where we're trying to get inside the corner We tied up the safety with Rowan, and so when he broke inside, the safety went with him. Here came Parker right behind him. Brandon puts it right on him. Touchdown, big play, and that was 4 plays into the game, and so that we felt pretty good about that start. The rhythm that you want.
This next play is going to be a defensive play, and this is something that we talked about last week.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it on the broadcast a lot. This is the most dominant defense inside the 20, that especially inside the 10,
right,
that I remember watching in the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
These guys they have stopped.
Multiple
you may
teams.
know.
I don't
they
know
have stopped
all
a
the
lot
of
people that were
teams.
first and goal.
Right.
4 attempts inside the 10.
That's right.
And they have shut them down just last 3 games or
Yes.
so.
Yes. Ever since probably the PG game, you've seen that play out. So they're down inside the 5 here, close to the 1, and they're going to try and do an outside zone with their quarterback. The defensive line just strings it out. Outside backers fill, gang tackle, and a stop. That was on a 3rd down. On 4th down, they threw an incompletion, and we get the ball back on the 1, and here we go.
And here we go again. And that was deja vu because that happened
right
the prior week. He marched 99 yards for the touchdown.
Right.
This next one is a 20-yard run by Ashton Haynes.
It is. Ashton, may have had his best game of the year. He had 100 yards receiving and over 100 yards rushing the other night. So tremendous job of following his blockers. Having a burst. He ran through a lot of tackles the other night. We just were really pleased that he just, the way he stayed at it. So you're going to see here, I kind of draw it out, and you can see the hole that he pops through between the guard and the tackle. And then, like I said,
just
runs,
effort.
Absolutely.
Effort.
Smells that goal line and is able to get past it.
This one is another Parker touchdown reception.
You bet. So, the last play we had run him on that inside, that post move. And so now we fake it. He stabs his foot and breaks back outside. So he's running a post corner. Brandon drops it right on him.
That is a
Beautiful
frozen
throw.
rope.
Beautiful
that was
throw.
beautiful.
Right.
Nice throw there.
You bet.
Here's where we stripped. This was Joe Clark's fumble recovery.
You bet. You got Matt Burton. Watch him get off the ball here close to the center. He just goes right by their offensive line and then comes around, grabs the quarterback, rips the ball out of his hands, and then Joseph Clark runs up, grabs the ball, and gets the offense the ball. Big turnover.
Big turnovers. This next one is Jay Rockwell touchdown.
Jay is singled up on their corner. And we felt like we had the advantage there. He's got a really good height advantage on this guy. Brandon throws him towards the sideline. He goes up to
great catch.
Yeah, he's up around 10 foot, and it's hard to stop that when you put the ball in the right place.
Yeah, and again, you look at that ball placement.
Perfect.
I mean, it's right on the money.
That's right.
There's been
a lot
I don't
of
know how many
practice.
times they've thrown that in practice.
A lot of reps.
You
right
can
there.
tell that was the muscle memory.
Absolutely.
For sure. Haynes had, I think, 3 touchdowns in this game. This is the second one.
Here's another TD run that he had. We bring Rowan across, and, of course, their eyes are on him as he runs across, and then Ashton comes out the back door. What an awesome job right there. He's about down, and you see that hand right there, keeps himself upright and into the end zone.
Yeah, he just runs with a lot of passion, a lot of
Absolutely.
energy. This next one, you went for 2 with Mike Colbert.
That you can see if you look on the edge right there, they don't have enough guys outside. And so we saw that, and so we were going to flip it out and get him. They all ended up slanting to it, but when they did, it hurt their gap integrity. And so Michael grabs the pitch and then runs up inside. Here he goes, and he sticks his foot, finds the hole, and just slices in and gets us an extra point.
Executed that real well.
Yeah.
This next one is Haynes, another touchdown, this time a TD catch.
Yes, sir. We've got several different ways to get him the ball in the passing game. This is one of them. We drop him out, slip him out into the field. You can see our linemen coming downfield. Great job of them getting out on their landmarks. And then, of course, Ashton he wasn't going to go down. I think several times they thought they had him, and he just kept running. This was before halftime.
I thought they had him.
Yeah. And he just kept slithering through them and got us some real momentum going into half.
So this is Matt Burton and Seth Jordan's sack on the quarterback.
There you go.
And he was slippery.
Yes, no doubt. He was a very talented quarterback. Great job moving in the pocket. Did you see Matt and Seth just overwhelm the guys blocking them and are able to get a big tackle back there to start the second half.
All right, follow that up with a drawn choice sack.
You bet. Jerron played one of his better games, I thought, defensive end. He gave us a lot of good reps. You see him just blow right by his tackle, comes around, grabs the quarterback, and puts him down on the ground.
Jerron's a big boy,
He's
too.
a big, long-armed guy.
Will Blakely blocks the kick here.
He gets a great jump. You're going to see him here on the edge, come off the ball, and just times it great and is able to block the kick. You know, that's a 3-point turn right there. And I really thought they should have thrown intentional grounding right there because that was a lineman that was standing there with the ball in his hands.
So they actually missed a penalty.
They missed that one. They did. That was one.
This one is, Rowan had 2 interceptions in this game. This is the first.
Yep. Rowan is going to be out here on the outside. They end up throwing a jump ball. And anytime you put that thing up for him to be able to go after, I'll put my money on him. You see him work outside. The ball's a little short. He goes and high points it, pulls it down, brings the ball back a little ways. Stopped another drive down. You know, they weren't quite into the red zone, but they were headed in that direction.
Yeah, he threw a bad pass at the wrong target.
No doubt.
Yeah. Then this is Haynes' final touchdown of the game.
Yes, sir. Another screen to him. They're trying to bring some pressure. We slide. Let's see. Actually, that one. I need to move to the next one. Here we go. This is the one we throw him to the field. We slip him out to the field. Again, lineman, great job leading the way down the field. He beats the corner, makes a big play there.
Okay, and then you got Jay Rockwell's interception in the end zone.
Jay, you know, came in at corner. They were throwing the ball a lot. We were using a lot of different guys at DB. Jay comes in, locks down the guy. He's a big physical specimen. They try and throw the fade, and he just wears the guy out and makes the pick. Another inside the 5 stop by the defense.
This next one was beautiful. This is a great way to end the game. This was Rowan's pick 6.
You bet. Rowan does.
Watch how fast he's coming.
Right. So we got great pressure on him. He's having to throw on the run. He throws it, just hangs it, and here he goes.
Yeah, he's catching on the run.
Right. He's now it's like a punt return. So he just gets out there in the open and is able to bring it back for 6 more points. That was a fun way to finish the game.
Yeah, a lot of highlights there.
Yes, sir.
That was awesome. I thought the guys played extremely well. I know we're going to be up against a lot of the same this next week because we're playing against one of the best quarterbacks, arguably in the state.
Right.
This one rivals our quarterback, in fact, a lot of people say. And the Van Vandals, going to be 2 o'clock on Friday in Rose Stadium in Tyler. And what are we looking for? Who do you compare them to?
Lindale. You know, we played Lindale. Lindale is in the big school, but, you know, they're just down the street. You have a lot of the same type kids, but they're high character. They play hard. They're well coached. They're physical. They're program kids. Coach Moffitt's been there since 2010, so it's not like, you know, they've had this
new program.
Right. They do what they do. They know how they're going to run their defense. They know what they're going to run on offense, and when they struggle with something, they know what to go to. Those kind of things. So. They have a high confidence level when they're playing in a game and they hit adversity. It doesn't faze them. They just work through it. So it's one of those teams that you can never let up. Even if you get ahead, they're going to just keep doing what they do, and they won't go away. You know, so you're going to have to go all the way to the last second against these guys.
Well, hopefully the offense can keep doing what they're doing. Defense has done it pretty consistently all year.
Right.
But the secondary is going to get a big challenge.
Yeah.
And they've got some big receivers.
They do. 6'5" receiver, number 4. Very talented, great hands. Had a highlight reel catch against LE over at Pine Tree in the first playoff game. They throw him a fade, and he's running and just reaches out and catches it and runs through the end zone with it, you know, holding it up. He's pretty good. The quarterback, he's a baller. You know, he's one of those guys that whenever it's 3rd and 7 or whatever, he's going to look for his guy, and if he can't find him, he's just going to go get it. He's going to go get that first down. So he can really run.
So this will be a good test. We're going into the 3rd round of the playoffs, and this is where it starts getting, you know, pretty tough. A little tough. Yeah. Those first 2 games, you know, you can usually assume we're going to do pretty well. This is where it starts, you know, rubber meets the road.
Standing out.
Yeah,
right.
it really does. Yeah, it does. It thins out. So hopefully we'll get another Buckeye victory, 3rd round of the playoffs. So Buckeyes, anything you want to tell the fans, by the way?
You know, here we are in East Texas.
Yep.
Rose Stadium, great venue to play an East Texas playoff game.
Haven't been there in years.
We haven't. I think the last time, maybe about 2018 or 19, we played a first round game there. But other than that, it's been a while. We used to play there a lot. Yeah. But they've redone it. It really looks nice. They've got it set up. I hope that people, bring their families out, have their Thanksgiving meal, and on Friday come out and fill up that stand and yell for the Buckeyes, and it's a great day.
Yeah, we need everybody there in person, folks. So if you would get your family, gather everybody up, bring your relatives, and come watch what's going to, I think, going to be a great football team, a great football game rather. So 2 o'clock, Tyler, Texas, Rose Stadium, Gilmer Buckeyes take on the Vandals. So good luck to you, Coach.
Thank you.
And Buckeye Nation, we need you there. So we'll see you there. Thanks for watching the Gilmer Coaches Show.